Welcome to Successful Living with Bill Napick. Every week we talk about success and everything that goes along with it. You'll learn the principles of success, how to achieve success, and learn to overcome challenges that may be getting in the way of success in your life. You'll hear from Bill Napick, a radio personality and business development expert, along with insight from special guests. If you're ready to find your path to success or take the success you're enjoying to the next level, stay tuned. Successful Living with Bill Napick is on right now.
And welcome to the show, Successful Living with Bill Napick. And today, Successful Living with our good friend Leslie Barkley, General Manager of the Palm in Houston, decade after decade, serving people in a tremendous way. Leslie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Bill. I'm excited to be here.
Well, and this is your restaurant. I'm excited to be at your restaurant today, as always. So here we are at the Palm. As I said, every year after year and decade, here in Houston, you have been serving tremendous food, tremendous hospitality, and it continues right here at the Palm in Houston, right on Westheimer. So let's tell people some of the things that they should think about right now in case they haven't been to the Palm for a while.
Well, first of all, they should remember that we are the Palm, a family company. So we have been family and owned for 3 generations now. We're on our 4th generation, actually. And it's just a special place. We are focused always on being a part of people's story, just being a part of their lives. We love being a part of the lives of our guests and our staff as well. It's a family place.
And as I've been here year after year, not just this Palm, but also other Palms, that's part of how you treat people as family, as they're your guests, here to have a great dinner and enjoy friends and a super atmosphere. But that family idea is so important, and that's how you treat the guest.
That is absolutely right. It's we see generations go through the Palm. So there are folks that are coming in even this evening where they're on their 3rd generation of Palm family coming in. So we've got the grandchildren of our original guests coming in tonight, and that's exciting. We just love seeing folks grow up.
And I can identify, as my son is now 34 years old, we had the wedding reception at the Palm in San Antonio for him, but also early on, he and I enjoyed some tremendous dinners and steaks, and he learned early on what fine dining is, and his introduction to that was at the Palm.
Absolutely. The fun thing about fine dining at the Palm is, though, you have all of the trappings of fine dining, but the personality of whoever you are. So your server has to have their own personality. This isn't we're not training them to be someone they're not and just follow steps of service. They're following steps of service, but in their own personality. So we love matching guests with the people that they would love, and then the guests naturally do that as well. They have requests because they know certain personality matches theirs, and they know they're going to have a fun time if they're matched with that person, and that's what I love.
And that's exactly right. And also, we'll tell people you will be a regular contributor on the show here, and periodically you will bring topics, and there's so many things that we can talk about, and we will as we go forward, but we can talk about food, we can talk about the managing people, we can talk about guest hospitality. But you brought a topic for us today. When we think about success on this show, I think you have some things that you're going to bring forth today that people, no matter what their profession is, they can use, but they can also get hungry as we talk about the Palm too.
Fantastic.
And talk about food. So let's tell people what you want to talk about today.
What I want to talk about is something that's universal. It's not a restaurant topic. It's simply a management topic, and not even just from the standpoint of being a manager, but in your job and in your daily life, you absolutely have to be organized, and you have to understand that there are probably 20 hats you wear during a day, no matter what you do. And one of the things that I have found is that something as simple as a to-do list, whatever way you come up with managing a to-do list, is absolutely crucial. Several of my managers through the years that I've worked with have said, I'm just not a to-do person. I keep it all up here. That's false. I'm sorry. There's no one on earth that can genuinely keep everything that happens up there and be successful every single day. So, and I've found that as I allow people to find their own way of doing a to-do list, they manage better and more efficiently. It happens time and again. Some have it written down on a back of a piece of scrap paper, one piece of scrap paper that they keep in their lapel pocket every single day. Others, like myself, have a Word document. The first thing I do when I walk into the restaurant every day is open my Word document. I open it next to my emails. I flag all my emails. I go through those. And then I use my Word document as my organic, growing, living document of my day. The other thing I think is true for every industry, and what's important to remember, is there's never going to be a blank to-do list.
There's always going to be the next one, or we're adding onto our to-do list. A couple things that come to my mind when I think about a to-do list, because I do it all the time. I'm writing them down. If I have a moment where I'm waiting for something, I'm thinking, let me write down, and then that way it helps you plan. But also with the to-do list, one of the fun things of the to-do list is what? Crossing off when we've done something.
Sure.
Because now we're feeling, hey, we're making progress. But I want to submit one other thing for people that they may not think about, and that is I also have a not to-do list. Now that one I keep in my mind because it's important what we do to get our job done and to excel and to succeed, but it's also important what we don't do.
That is absolutely true. It's funny, I have strange ways of prioritizing on my to-do list where I have the urgent things up top, and then it kind of trickles down, but then maybe there's a return between two items because I know that I can do that later. And then maybe I highlight something because I know I need it done. But I think everybody out there has enjoyed writing something on the to-do list that they have already finished just for the feeling of crossing it off. But I think early in my management career, one of the first lessons I ever learned was that it's never going to go away, that you're never going to check everything off. Because I went in every day thinking, okay, today I'm going to clear that to-do list. But all you do every day is add more to it. And when I finally was able to communicate enough to my brain to make me realize that this is, like I said, it's a living document. It's organic, and it is going to grow every day, and then it's going to taper back, and it's going to grow and taper back. But as long as I know, walking in every day, listen, everything is not going to go as planned. I'm not going to finish everything on it, but I need to prioritize and do the most important things. The other part of this, then, the second part of this that's specific to restaurant management would be that you continually need to be two people, at least during the day, no matter what. You need to be an operator, somebody that's operating the restaurant, and you need to be the hospitality point person. You need to be the one that drives everyone to feel and be the hospitable person that makes people feel like family every day. So the moment the guests start walking through the door, my operations brain goes to the back and my hospitality brain has to come forward, and I need to be focused on my people, and that includes my staff, my internal guest and my external guest. You know, some of the things that you're doing when you're managing a restaurant are plumbing, roof leaks. You need to understand a sprinkler system. You need to understand that, you know, your oven isn't working to temp, and there's a reason why, and it's either in a very expensive fix or something simple. So you keep logs on how to fix certain things. So you're a handyman, and then the next minute you're a financial analyst. You're working on a declining budget, and you're understanding that I know that we need coffee spoons, but what do we need even more? And I only have X number of dollars to spend this month on these things. So you're trying to prioritize how to physically put your restaurant together every single day. But that needs to go to the background. Even though you're seeing all these things, even all these things are going on around you, it needs to go to the background the minute you open your restaurant doors. So finding the time to be these two people is key as well.
It moves back and forth. So when there's a customer that walks in the door, you switch into that mode, and then everything else goes in the background. Or if there's a need that one of the associates have here, same thing. It goes back and forth. But when you were saying that, the idea of focus, that is so important. And when you said the thing about budgets, I think there are many people out there listening right now that realize that to run that successful business or to run a successful household, we have to have a budget. And when we spend, we figure, okay, that takes away from the budget. Or sometimes we have an expenditure that's a lot less than we thought, and then we're saying, oh boy, great, now I have some more room to breathe. So it is, like you said, a living document. It is always moving back and forth. So being successful, so many components come into play. How we work with people, how we adjust our focus, and balance, just the word balance has so much to do with everything right here in this restaurant environment. And not only that, at this restaurant, the Palm, and the Palm, all the locations around the country, the Palm, people have higher expectations perhaps. So when they walk in, you really have to have that fine tune, and I've always enjoyed it when I've been here.
Thank you, Bill. I'm glad. We always love when you're here.
Well, thank you for that.
They absolutely deserve to have higher expectations. It's a special place. It's not easy for everyone to come to the Palm on a regular basis. Not everyone can do that. So when they're able to come here, it needs to be a perfect operating machine, and absolutely nothing behind the scenes should show to the guests. They shouldn't know about operations. They should have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. So I talk to my internal family, my staff, about this a lot. You should never be pulling back the curtain. They have their own job and their own stresses in life and their own things that they're coming here to escape. And if they're genuinely our family, we're going to invite them in every day and make them comfortable, make them feel like home, and allow them to escape all of the operations of their daily life. And that's actually incredibly gratifying, by the way. There's nothing better than knowing all these things are going on in the background, but being able to then spend time with the people that are sitting in your restaurant, knowing that they're escaping all the things that are going on in their background. At the end of the day, you've got to escape it too. I read notes from my guests. I just saw one this morning from one of my guests. It just said some wonderful things. They had a wonderful time the other night. And it was funny, when I was looking at the email, I thought, oh my goodness, no, I had a wonderful time the other night. You gave me a wonderful dinner experience, even though I wasn't sitting down and eating with you. But that's where you have to have these two running parts of yourself, where you stop and you enjoy these things with them. And that's why staying organized and all of that is so paramount. There's no one on earth that can tell me that organization just isn't my thing or something. You have to. In every job, you have to be able to be organized to function on all the levels you need to function on during your day.
A couple things come to mind when you're talking about behind the scenes and creating the customer experience for those that walk in where they're concerned about having a great time and all that. It reminds me a little bit about, there are many businesses that operate like that and have that mindset because it is so important. And the one that comes to mind, I don't know if you're thinking the same one because you're nodding your head, but I'm talking about Disney World. Because they have, for year after year since its inception, I mean, they have such a mindfulness about what's behind the scenes and making sure everybody sees what they want the stage to be set like.
You're exactly right.
From the characters to the tunnels that the workers go in and then they pop out in different areas. I mean, but that's the same idea when we're in the restaurant business or any other service business. The other thing, when we think about service, you are in the service business in a gigantic way, as you're in the great food business, but it all works together. But when you say about the idea of where you had a good time providing the service and the recipients here that had dinner that night, that's when it's working, because as the manager, you have to have what it takes and the desire to want to enjoy providing that great service. As you're aware that everyone that's part of the team here, those are the people that are on your team, because there's something truly exciting when you provide something for someone, whether it's a gift, an experience, even a compliment. It feels as good to give it as it does to receive it.
It sure does.
I think we got something.
I think you're so right.
Easy to say sometimes.
It is. And that's the other thing, too. You need to manage your own expectations as well as manage the restaurant, the people, the staff, and all of the operations. You need to manage your expectations. So in no way is anyone perfect anywhere. And there are things that may not be as smooth as we thought, or maybe a misunderstanding, or maybe we didn't get the steak cooked exactly right the first time. When those things do happen, the idea is you immediately have to just make it right. So again, if we're considering that we're family all the time, thinking about this, then we know that if we did something that wasn't absolutely perfect for our family's experience, we would just immediately make up for it. So we have to be in the moment always and have that hospitality hat on and the operations in the background, to make sure that that person is going to leave happy, that we did the right thing by them if we've made a mistake. I think a lot of people talk about mastering hospitality and mastering, restaurant operations, but the truth is, not always. Everyone makes mistakes. So we need to manage our expectations, not be completely falling apart about how we're upset that it didn't go the way we wanted it to for somebody, but just immediately get it taken care of, make them happy, make up for it, and they'll come back knowing that, hey, we're going to make it right if anything ever goes wrong. So managing your own expectations of how the day is going to go and not being crushed by everything not going as planned is another thing you have to do every day that you come in.
And what you're saying reminds me of, as I'm a consumer, we're all consumers every day, but I think back to some of my major compliments of any organization that I have given, and many times it's a result of when something did go wrong, how they exceeded the expectation or how they made it right, where I go back or tell people about the experience and say, hey, do you know what happened at this place or that place or this hotel? And it went wrong. Guess what they did? They went above and beyond, or they just made me feel really good. They took care of it. Or you might talk about what they did, the speed in which they did it, how quickly they rectified it, their manner when they rectify it. Right?
That's
because
right.
Just even in the tone of our voice, we could have a sentence and say that sentence, but it's how we say the sentence.
Right.
And also what comes from our heart. You could tell, and it goes back to having the right people, the right manager, the right associates, and where they're really coming from, because we can spot sincerity all the time and insincerity.
I'm glad you said that. The word sincere is exactly what I was thinking in my mind. As we've been, I only came to this location of the Palm 8 months ago, so building a staff was first on the to-do list here. To-do list again. But we assessed those that had the right ideal and made sure that as we were bringing other people on, we brought people on that matched our values. We've had the same list of values at the Palm since day one, and there is a little business card we print, a laminated card in the company it's wonderful, and it lists our values and our mission about treating the guests like family and serving exceptional food. Those cards are part of everyone's uniform here, so everyone needs to be carrying it with all times. And we check from time to time, do you have your Palm values card on it? Because the truth is, if something were to go wrong, we need to have the people with the right heart as the first line standing there at the table and then getting us involved. And that's just part of the hospitality piece. If a person doesn't have that gene, you can tell, and right away in the interview. They can be an all-star server on the operational side in their job, but that's not what's going to get the job done at the end of the day. They need to have the right heart. So that's our last interview talks about that. When I see your name and your fellow family members on staff see your name on the schedule, are they going to look at your name and say, oh, thank goodness Bill's here? That's what they need to say, and that's my line at the end of the interview. Is that what you're going to bring every day? Everyone's going to say, thank goodness Bill is here. That's what's important.
And we have the ability to help people enjoy the experience, or if we don't have that right attitude, it goes the other way. When you're talking about that card, it reminds me, and you probably already know this, reminds me of a very famous hotel chain called the Ritz-Carlton. They too, their associates have, their ladies and gentlemen they call them, have a Credo card. It's called the Ritz Credo, I believe, and they have principles. So let's tell people, Leslie, what are some of the other things that you'd like them to know about maybe what's going on right now at the Palm? Because when I sit here with you, I always get hungry, because this is a place that just has tremendous hospitality, people with the right mindset, as we're talking about, but also some killer food. It is delicious. I'm getting hungry just sitting here.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm glad. So we have just this month brought a fuller menu back to the Palm. So we had a lighter menu through the spring and summer months, and we brought back a lot of our Italian specialties. So, the weather today is awful, Bill. It's awful. It's too cold for this girl. But anyway, we brought back some of those meals that make us feel warm and wonderful. Our veal, all of our veal dishes, veal marsala and veal parm. And then we brought back some of our larger steaks, our double cut New York and such. So we've got some really filling steaks on the menu. We also just added this month a grass-fed filet, and it is unbelievable. This is such a good cut, and grass-fed is not something that we have ever had on our menu before. So we're excited about that. We've also brought back our lobster mac and cheese. That's a fall dish right there. And we have a fall menu coming up starting this evening, actually. It has a putter steak on it. It has a really nice roasted cauliflower. It has, for dessert, a pumpkin creme brulee. So everyone loves the word pumpkin. But we're excited about having our fuller menu back.
And we could talk about each one of those dishes, but I do want to also touch upon the lobster mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm. The
what
lobster
about
mac
that?
and cheese. Lobster mac and cheese is decadent. It's filling on its own, but it is all of our amazing cheeses. We have such fantastic and good fresh cheeses here. And then our fresh Nova Scotia lobster is chopped up and put in just a classic mac and cheese. And then it is baked at the end to get the top real nice and dark cheese on the top. And it's just bubbling when it comes out. And you can share it if you want, but I have a hard time sharing. It's unbelievably good.
Well, Leslie, people are out there listening. I hope they got some great ideas from us as we talked about the mindset of success here and wearing several hats all at once, because I bet everybody out there listening, if not 95%, have that. We all have to wear many hats in our business, and what we've described and what you've described today, I think, fits with a lot of people. But also, let's tell people how they can reach out to you, make the reservation, because I know they'll want to be here for lunch. Your lunches are tremendous. The dinners, we have such a great time ahead of us here in October, November, December. So let's tell people, how should they reach out?
Well, they can use OpenTable to make a reservation at any time. They can call us, the restaurant, at 713-977-2544. Or what's fun is going to our website, www.thepalm.com. You can go straight to /Houston if you'd like. Read about our history. That's the thing I would say. Read about the history, read about the family, and then we list at every location. If you've got time you're trying to avoid your to-do list, read through some of the history of our employees throughout all the Palm restaurants. Many have been here for decades. So it's a really fun place. The website itself is actually really readable. It's fun.
And like many organizations, it starts with family. A couple family members get together. In this case, how many years has it been when the Palm first came on the scene?
92 years, 1926 on 2nd
years.
Avenue in New York City.
So there it was, right in New York City. Two
friends from Parma, Italy.
Parma, Italy.
Yep.
I've never been there. I'll have to go there. But in the meantime, if you can't go to Parma, Italy, come right here to the Palm on Westheimer. And what's the address, Leslie?
6100 Westheimer.
And the phone number one more time?
713-977-2544.
And I bet if they say hello to Leslie Barkley when they come in, you'll even smile, have a bigger smile.
I will. If you say hi to me personally, it makes my day. But don't worry, I'll probably get to you first.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are here, Successful Living with Bill Nampick, and today, Leslie Barkley. We're sitting right here at the Palm, so you could tune into the YouTube video. Certainly you may be listening on the radio, but go to the YouTube channel, Bill Nampick Radio Shows, and you could see us sitting here, and we're talking, having a great time, and Leslie's to-do list, I think, is right by her seat.
Sure is.
But anyway, thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you so much, Bill. I appreciated it.
And thank you all for listening.